Greetings everybody and welcome back. My name is Donna and you are live at the She Shack. I'm coming to you today from Pierce, South Dakota, located on the beautiful Missouri River. And today I have a special guest with us. I think you can see her in the background. This is Katie. She's actually my sister's cat and she's been staying with me for about 6 months. I presently don't have a cat and my sister has 3, so she's kind enough to loan her to me to keep me company during this stressful and trying time. Throughout the video, hopefully she'll come and see us. She does not like to be confined, so she'll probably start talking shortly, but we'll see if she'll come and say hi. So thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channel and watched my videos. I truly appreciate it. I continue to be in awe of this community and the kindness of fellow stitchers and other people out there who like to watch Flosstubes. Secondly, I hope everybody is safe and healthy wherever you're at in the world. I am in South Dakota and we have been extremely blessed and lucky here. Our state is not on lockdown. Our only restrictions are guidance from our governor, who asks us to do social distancing and to be conscientious and aware of those who may have health issues. So all of our businesses are still open, which they are also struggling, but they are open. So if you have a local business that is open, a restaurant, maybe a craft store, I would encourage you to go and grab a meal or grab some fun stitching supplies and support those people in this challenging time. Today I want to talk to you about just a couple things. We're going to look at a couple of lavender and lace pieces that I've completed. I'll show you what I've been working on, and then I will end with a botanical moment. And I'll show you where the celery has gone and what the progress on that has been. So let's get started. When I last saw you, I think I was working on this Burland sampler, which was off the Antique Samplers and Needleworks CD. And so what I've done is I hand-dyed a piece of material, and then I have used one hank of silk, and I'm just picking randomly motifs from the sampler since it is quite large, and I was just kind of doing an experiment to see how this thread worked on this material, and I do really, really like it. So the first motif that I did was this one over here in my last video, and since then I have completed 3 others and I'm working on this one. These are really fun because they have some specialty stitches in them. This is just using a straight stitch or a back stitch, but the effect is really, really cool. See if I can show close up. So I'm thoroughly enjoying that one. This again is a piece of hand-dyed material that I dyed with Rit dye and some snow and some hot water through a couple of different times. Katie's going to talk to us now. Hi, Katie. So the second thing that I've been working on, maybe like many of you have not really been able to focus. I am still working my regular job. I think I mentioned that I run a nonprofit association. I actually represent the oil and propane industry, so all those gas stations that are open and convenience stores and everybody who's delivering fuel and propane, those are my members just for the state of South Dakota. So I've been trying to help them get waivers, get things that they need, make sure that they're doing okay in their businesses. So it's been quite a time. So Katie's going to talk to us, so I'm going to interrupt right now and I'm going to go pick up Katie, see if she'll give us a close-up view, and then let her outside. Come on, Katie. Like most cats, she's sassy. This is Katie. Again, she's about 8. She likes to go outside, and she likes to actually be laid upside down like this. Only with me. She doesn't let my sister do this to her. This is something that we've developed over the time she's been with me. And she likes to be scratched on both sides at once and rocked like a baby. We probably can't hear her, but she's purring pretty loud. For all you cat owners out there, you know this look right now? This is a I'm extremely irritated look. Let me down. There's Katie Dick. So I was working on Dear Heart by Kathy Barrick. And I'll show you how far I got, and then I'm probably going to have to let her outside. We'll see if she's going to cooperate. So this is how far I've gotten on this. This is being done with the called for silks. This is on 36 count feldspar by Picture This Plus, I believe. But the blue that's in here, it's very hard to see. It's not picking it up. There we go. It's quite a beautiful blue. So I had just gotten the flower done, so I worked on the deer. And I'm really liking the way it's turning out. Since I'm so distracted and can't really focus, I've worked on a couple different pieces just trying to keep my mind focused. And in addition to doing a little cross stitching, I've been doing a lot of quilting on my sister's long arm quilting machine. She has a Gamel Elevate, and so we've been busy making all kinds of fun project bags. The quilting's pretty cool on this. Excuse me, I better let her out. Wanna go outside? Come on. We'll see if that keeps her happier. So also, some people had asked to see the She Shack, so I've kind of rearranged. This is one end of my She Shack, right up, that's closest to my house. So there's 30 feet from the front to the back. You can see the door is open, so I can come in here and sit on the couches, or I'm actually filming on my planting bench right now. So I'll try to give you a little view at the end. What else have I been working on? Again, I've been extremely distracted. So I was going through trying to straighten out my house a little bit, and I came across a project that I bought so long ago, probably around the year 2000, had forgot about it. It's a very, very old whip. Here's another style of bags that my sister made for me. I call this a fat bottom bag, but I found the material and it's directional, so I didn't want it to be upside down, so we came up with a different style. So I was looking around to see what I had done, and I came across this piece. This piece again is really old, probably from the year 2000, and I absolutely love it, and I have no idea why I haven't been working on it, but I'm working on it now. So this is Rooster by La Di Da. It's a really hard picture to see. I ordered this so long ago that I can't, one, remember who sent it to me, and two, I can't remember the fabric that they sent me. This fabric is called Sparrow by Birds of a Feather. I don't think Birds of a Feather makes any material again, but I know when I ordered this, I did not even know what hand-dyed was, and they asked if I wanted the last piece, and I said, sure, why not? Isn't he cool? I really, really like him a lot. What I also discovered, since I hadn't stitched on this for a long time, is that it's actually 36 count. That probably explains why I had all kinds of problems in the beginning. I had started this, as you can see on the top. You can't tell, but I was actually using two strands of thread, because I guess I didn't realize it was 36 count because I didn't read. So I left that one in, and then I've done everything else with one strand of thread except for the rooster himself. He also has 2 strands of thread in him. So I figured I would try it, see if you can tell, and if not, I can continue on some of my older projects and reduce down to 1 thread. But I really like him. He's Rooster by La Di Da. I actually thought I would have that one finished, but I got busy quilting and sewing with my sister. We've been making masks for our local hospital here. There's a bunch of people in the community are doing that, and I think that's a really great thing to do. So the next thing I was working on, and I think this is the last thing I've actually worked on, and as many of you have already talked about, sometimes you're just having a bad day, and it always seems like when you're having that really bad day that some stitchy friend, for some reason unknown, maybe just knows that you need a little pick-me-up, sends you something in the mail. So my stitchy friend who gifted this pattern to me is Kathleen Selleck, and she is Kathleen's Trodden Trail here on Flosstube. So if you have not subscribed to her or watched her, please do so. She's from Nebraska. Kathleen and I met at the Midwest Cross Stitch Retreat last October, and we also met another friend named Dory Kehoe. And Dory and I would get up early in the morning and walk, and Kathleen would get up early and stitch. So the three of us started to get up in the morning, have a cup of coffee, get our stitching. Usually didn't get any stitching done, but just share our thoughts for the day and enjoy that beautiful time of day. It's all three of our favorite time of day is early morning. So Kathleen sent this. It's called Coffee First by Luminous Fiber Arts, Misty Purcell, who's also on Flosstube. And this is not traditionally something that I would stitch, but I absolutely am in love with this project. I started this project 3 times. This is my 3rd attempt. So what I did was I converted all the flosses to hand dyes. Most of these are color and cotton, and it's just such a bright, beautiful, springy palette. The material I picked was Regency by Picture This Plus. No, originally I started this, it's a 28 count cashel. I started this 1/1, and very quickly I came to realize that I am not a 1/1 stitcher, so I wasn't going to be able to accomplish that. So I tried another piece of material, also a 28 count, tried to do 1/1, and it just wasn't working for me at all. So I decided to bite the bullet and try 2 strands on this 28 count Regency, and I absolutely love this. It is so cheery and springy, the beautiful bright colors. Let's see if I can get it closer. I'm filming on my iMac, so this is different than my iPad, but let's see if I can get it closer. The colors are just amazing. That hand dyed just gives it such a great touch. So I get a little obsessed with this one too. So thank you to Kathleen for sending me something when I needed a pickup. Also, I didn't bring it out with me, but there's a coffee cup that Misty made that is this design. So she also sent us a coffee cup. So it's dirty right now, but I drink that coffee out of that cup quite often. So thank you, Kathleen. Love it. Need to post my progress and see how Dory and Kathleen are doing on theirs also. So both Kathleen and Dory are doing most of the called for colors. So it'd be pretty cool to see it when it's all done among all of us. So that's all I've really been working on. Sorry, project bag my sister made again. I loved this material. I have a weakness for really cool, different colors of material. Again, it was directional, so she made me a different style of bag. I call these my fat bottom bags. So here's another fat bottom bag. In addition to doing a little bit of stitching and some quilting, I felt very, very compelled to support my local needlework store, which I am in South Dakota. My closest needlework store is in Minneapolis, which is about a 7-hour drive, and it's Stitchville USA, and the owner's name there is Deb. I will post her information down below in the comments, because if you have never been there or purchased something from her, Deb has phenomenal inventory of all kinds of fabrics and threads. She has wool threads. She's got a large collection of all kinds of different silk threads, hand-dyed threads, a DMC anchor. She also has all the Krynics and beads. She has all kinds of other fun accessories, but it's just a really, really great store. And they were directed to close down, so she's doing mail order only. She does not actually have a website that shows everything, but she carries from 3 big wholesalers, Hoffman, Witchell, and Yarn Tree, I believe. So almost any pattern that you want, she can get for you or has it in stock already. So I also, in addition to supporting Stitchville, I've talked about that I really love Kathy Barrick. I also really love Carriage House Samplings and her sister Marty's designs. So knowing that Marty is a small business also, I wanted to patronize her and give her some business. So I went on a little binge where I bought 5 new patterns. Another cool bag that my sister made, and I actually helped her do it. So I actually quilt the material and do some of the sewing, and then she does more. So this was one that I have been eyeing for a very, very, very long time. Sorry. This is Birds and Bees by Carriage House. I am sorry that Don't you love the deer? That deer is just out of this world. I just had to have this. So I don't have every silk that is called for, but all the reds and blues. That is gorgeous. This actually called for exemplar. She did not have any exemplar in stock, so instead she sent me a piece of wren. I think that's showing a pretty accurate picture of wren. I really like the color. I'm really excited to start this one. Again, there's the colors on the wren. Not doing a very good job. I have severe allergies also, so I've been miserable for about a month. I have to take advantage of the times that I'm not sneezing or coughing or have a runny nose. So hopefully I can get through this without that happening. So the next, before I show you the rest of the things I got from Carriage House Sampling, sorry squirrel, I want to just talk about, I'm not really going to do Stitch Mania because I just can't stay focused that long, but I do have a piece that I wanted to do for this time in history. And this is an old piece, and this was something that was given to me as a gift. So if you have never seen this before, this is called Angel of the Morning. Sorry about that glare. By Lavender and Lace. She is actually the design that Marilyn stitched for 9/11. But I had not gotten to it. It's been in my to-do list for a really long time. A friend gifted this to me, and she did send it to me with the called for material, which was a blue. Isn't this material just amazing? This is what set me off on my project bag making binge with my sister. I found this material and it is gorgeous. So she lives in there. So I started out with the original blue. Just from my previous 2 videos, I think people probably realize that I'm not just a plain colored stitching girl. I like to have a lot of variety. So the material wasn't to my liking, so I tried to take the blue out with bleach. That did not work. Then I tried to dye it again with blue, and that did not work either. So then I took more bleach and I bleached the whole thing out, got it as light as I could, which turned out to be a tan. And then I did a process where it turned out to be this purplish color, which I really like. And I'm going to try to show you this with all the threads. That wasn't working. So these are all the DMCs that it calls for. Quite a beautiful variety of DMCs. And it also calls for needle paints. These were made exclusively for this design. They are gorgeous. I believe you can still buy these at Stitchville. And this is the piece of material I'm going to do this Angel of the Morning on. These black spots that you see, are the brown spots right there, are where I tried to just pour bleach on there, and I just didn't like it. So the pins indicate where she's going to be. Actually I have it upside down. The top of her wings are going to touch where these pins sit, and then the bottom will come where those, and I will be able to stitch right over the top of those marks. But this material I thought turned out really pretty. I think it's going to be really, really nice with these needle paints in particular against it. I love purple. Let's see if I can show these to you. So I really like those. I'm excited to start that. So once I start that, I'm going to try to stay focused on that one mostly and try to work to get that one finished, as hopefully the end of our present situation will coincide with when I get this finished. So that means I need to stitch pretty fast, being optimistic. So if anybody else would like to stitch along with me on that one, I would invite you to do so. That would be fantastic. Again, she's Angel of the Morning by Lavender and Lace. She was made for 9/11, and I thought it was appropriate to use her for COVID-19. So again, I was trying to help out small businesses, so I do have quite a bit of stash to go through. I've got some fun things here that I'm going to show you. So I'll show you what my sissy and I have been doing. Project bags. This one was really cool with the high heel shoes. Kind of hard to see, but the quilting is actually shoes. You can see the one right here, right there, high heel shoes. I like pink. It's one of my favorite colors. And if you haven't seen this pattern, it's just really cool too. La-di-da. It's called Love Abide. And I thought the saying was really appropriate. In our home, let love abide and bless all those who step inside. What a great sentiment. I also, not too long ago, acquired this guy. La-di-da Spring Hair. He's really cool. And thirdly, I have had this in my stash for a long time, and I obviously like cats, so I just thought he was super cute. Spot the cat. So that's my la-di-das. Another cool project bag. This one's really cool because we quilted this one with owls. A little bit hard to see, but you can see the owl right there. There's another one. Probably can't see well, but you can see this guy right in the middle. He's pretty cool. I like birds a lot. Where I live, and unfortunately with light the way it is, you can't see the river behind me or to the side, but we have great bird watching. Yesterday on the river, there was a loon. We don't traditionally get loons here, but in the past week we've had the sandhill cranes that come from the sandhills in Nebraska. They migrate over, and they have a very unique call. And so I was taking a walk with one of my friends, and they were flying overhead, and you can't miss their call. We also have, right out of the back window, I also have eagles that we see quite regularly. So I have a pair of binoculars in my house, and I love to bird watch. So if I can ever catch some videos of that, I'll let you know. So this one I also bought when I was in at Stitchville in January. My friend and I were in Minneapolis. Rodney. Just super, super cool. And here's the silks that go to Rodney. Hard to kind of see. I don't have the piece of material that I'm going to stitch this on. I want to stitch this on Bramble by Picture This Plus, but I ran out of that material, so I need to order that piece of material. So that'll be on Bramble. And I just am on a roll with rabbits lately also. Another bag my sister and I made. This one is a release this year from Market from Rosewood Manor. I just really like this one. It's so bright and cheery. I absolutely love all these bright colors on here. Called Spring Hill. So want to get that one started. I mean, isn't it just adorable? Look at those cows. They are so cute. This is another one of my purchases from Marty Barrick at Carriage House Samplings. And she was so sweet. She wrote such a nice little note with my patterns that she sent me. I saw this one too, and I just love the colors. I tend to stitch on something because of the color I'm in the mood for. So if I'm in the mood to stitch on yellow, then I'm going to go to something that's got a lot of yellow in it. Deer Heart's a great example. I just love that blue, and I was in a mood to do that blue, so I stitched on that. So mine's not always the pattern. It's more based on the colors that I stitch on. I don't know if everybody else does it or not, but that's one of the things I do. The little bag my sister and I made. This one is another Carriage House, Faith, Hope, and Honor. And the woman, her dress is amazing, and those flowers. I love the way Carriage House and Kathy Barrick make their botanicals different colors. They're not just plain brown or, I'm sorry, green, not brown. That'd be a dead plant. Green. I mean, the blue. It's just beautiful. I fell in love with this one also and just had to have it. So that's Faith, Hope, and Honor. By the way, when I ordered from Carriage House Samplings, she had the order to me within just a couple days. She was super fast. It was awesome. I'm also a fisherman. I love to fish. So when I saw this material, I just had to have it. These are Rapalas, lures, all kinds of different lures if you're a fishing person like me. And this pattern I have been eyeballing for so long. I'm not a traditional blue person, but obviously I've been on a blue roll lately. This is Carriage House Samplings, Oh Shenandoah. I think I was really drawn to this because this is the Missouri River, and that's what I live on. And isn't that horse just super, super cool? Love him. I'm actually going to today order the silks and some material from Stitchville USA to get this one going. Almost done with the ones I ordered. So project bag. This one, again, her dress, the leaves on the tree, the trees, everything about this is just super cool. This is called the Garden Glade. None of these were hard to find if I ordered them from Carriage House. They were a little harder to find through some retail, so I went right to the designer. And I can't wait to start that one either. I might have to actually order supplies for that one today too. Just trying to help out. So these other ones are just other ones I picked up. Everybody likes to stitch samplers, and this sampler I saw so long ago, and it's very unique. It's not a traditional sampler, so if you have not seen this, you might want to pick this up. This is by Ink Circles. It's called Little Alien Schoolgirl. The cool thing about this, and maybe it's not a true story, but I thought it was, is this is actually a sampler that's in a time capsule in Roswell, New Mexico. And the designer tells a story about how she was able to go and look at it, but not touch it or take a picture of it. And so she designed it based on what she saw. I think she said she went 3 times. Some of the symbols, they figured out what they meant. In the pattern, it talks about what each symbol means, which I thought was really pretty cool. So number 3, let's see if I can find this for you. Number 3 is this right up here. They just call that ancient primitive rocket technology. So if you want to do a sampler but do something a slight bit different, how fun is this? Again, I can't wait to get that one started. And almost at the end, of course, I had to do it. So many people have it. If you have not got this, every pattern in here is super, super fun. One of the reasons I liked it is they have a pattern that's hollyhocks, and I grow hollyhocks. And as I film and as my hollyhocks start to grow, I will show you the outside. So right past that window, right before the river, is a huge garden bed that this time of year it's going to start to bloom bachelor buttons, and then it goes right into my hollyhocks. And my grandfather and my dad's dad was a farmer, and he loved to grow hollyhocks. And one of my favorite pictures, and if I can find it, I'll insert it right here. It's a picture of my grandpa standing with his hollyhocks. So I absolutely love hollyhocks. So I saw that pattern. I think Laura showed the hollyhocks, and I had to have that. This one also, I just watched Brenda and Laura this morning, and Laura had this one. This one I've been eyeballing for a couple of years. It is two sisters who have made samplers, and then within that they've designed some samplers based on the sisters' samplers. So it's really, really a cool book, and I am going to hopefully start one of those soon too. As we all know, there's just so little time and so many projects to start through. So let's talk botanicals. So my last video, I invited all of you to try to grow food in your own house. And the first thing that I planted was celery. Again, celery was easy. You just chop off the base of the celery and you put it in water. So this is the second celery plant that I planted. This guy is probably about 3 weeks old. He's got a long shoot on him. As you can see where the brown is, it's starting to get kind of mushy. It's starting to degrade. But he's grown really big. I mean, you can see clearly the celery stalks. And he's coming right out of the center. So I have chosen for now just to leave him in water. Last time somebody asked me if you start him in warm water. I don't change that water. Every once in a while will just dump the whole thing out. It doesn't necessarily have to be warm, but I don't literally change this water very often. So I wanted to do a comparison of how it grew in water versus dirt. So the first one that I showed you, I transplanted. And how cute is this? This is a planter that I got at my local hospice. It's actually a flower vase. And so what I do, because obviously there's no hole in the bottom for drainage, I fill it about up to here with just some gravel that I found, or you can just purchase some gravel. So I put just rocks about halfway up, and then I put the dirt in the top. So this is the first guy that was sitting in water, and he started to grow. Now he's not growing quite as tall, and he's got a little bit of almost like mold on him, on that little white right there. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with him. He's still growing. He still looks fantastic, and how cool does that look? Little planter. So that is my celery. So I hope you're growing some. Let me know. I know my mom has started to grow some in her house, and it's super easy and it's fun to watch it grow. And especially now that kids are home, this is a great activity for kids to do. And it's something you could probably teach a class on horticulture or gardening. Now the second thing that I decided I was going to grow was bok choy. Bok choy is just like a type of, almost like a, well, it looks like celery. It almost looks like a cabbage. This is bok choy. He has been in, and there's his roots at the bottom. So that's what happens is the roots come through. He's actually edible. Both his leaves and his stalk are edible. But he has started to flower. He almost looks like a piece of broccoli. So since this is my first experiment, I'm not sure if this bok choy is supposed to be flowering. Usually when I grow broccoli and it flowers, that means it's going to produce a head of it. So I'm not sure what's going to actually happen here. So I'll keep you up to date on the bok choy, but this has been about 3 weeks also. He's pretty big. I did something different on him. I just had a cup with water in it. I just filled it up and I just sat him in there. He sits in there really nice. Doesn't go to the bottom, so he just sits in this cup like that, and he just has water in him, and been loving it. So the third thing that I want to show you, and these guys desperately need to get into some dirt. I love garlic. I love the smell of garlic. I love the taste of garlic. So I thought I would try to grow garlic. Now, some people grow garlic by just breaking off the little clove and putting it right into the dirt. I decided I wanted to sprout them. These are about 10 days worth of growth. And let me show you what has happened. And I've just kept adding water. They're out here in the SheShack. Look at those roots. It looks like a piece of, like a green onion. That's how the green onions would be, but you can clearly see the garlic clove. So what's going to happen is that clove of garlic is actually going to be the clove. This guy up here is just going to continue to grow. I did 8 of them, and I was astonished. These are fast growers. Within 1 day, they already had at least an inch growth on them. You can see this guy's starting to curl a little bit, so I need to get him out of there. Here I did 5. They got a nice strong root system right now, so I'll be transplanting those in there. I think that's about all for today. If I've forgotten anything, I'll probably come back sooner than later. I'm just excited that I got through this without sneezing or coughing. Again, there's the shot of my SheShack. I'm going to turn my computer monitor now and see if I can show you a little shot of outside. We'll see how there's my yard. As you can see right by the trees right there, that is the Missouri River. Not the best shot, but as you can see now in the back too, the river sits right behind me there. Lots of great bird watching. Lots of great viewing in general. And then the other side of my SheShack on this side, this is actually my stereo right there. And then this is kind of more of my plants over here. These guys are mother-in-law tongues in the back, orchids, and some stitching stuff. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for subscribing. There'll be information down below. I am going to change my Instagram name. Right now it's actually El Gatito Gato Stitcher, but that is kitty actually in Spanish. But I'm going to change it to the SheShackStitcher. And I'm also probably going to open a little Etsy store, and I'll have the link down below that too to sell my project bags, and that's just going to be called the SheShackStore. And my sister and one of my girlfriends and I decided that we are crafty and we're just going to sell things that we've made and put things up for sale when we get enough and just have a good time with it. So thank you.